Hello. In this video, I am going to read through all of the statements on the free personality test and give a little bit more explanation on some of them and what they mean. If you need to pause as we go along because you need more time to answer, feel free. For each statement, you're going to mark whether you agree or disagree or somewhere in the middle. I'm marking all of mine in the middle, but you can do yours whichever side you want to do it on. Okay? The first one says, you enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. So you enjoy going to big parties with a lot of people. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. This means that you think about things that maybe will never ever happen, but you think that they're kind of interesting. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary or schedule. So you have a list of ideas of things that you want to do instead of a specific schedule of when you're going to do things. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it has taken place. If your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not try to solve their problem. People can rarely upset you. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. If you have to temporarily put your plans on hold, you make sure it is your top priority to get back on track as soon as possible. You rarely worry if you make a good impression on someone you met. You rarely worry if you made a good impression. It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. You are more of a detail-oriented than a big picture person. So that means you concentrate on little tiny details instead of the overall look of things. You are very affectionate with the people you care about. Okay, don't forget to hit next. That's where our next list comes from. You have a careful and methodical approach to life. So there's a method to everything that you do. You are still bothered by the mistakes you made a long time ago. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. So if you're at a party, maybe you find a quiet corner to sit in or someplace away from where all the activity is. You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. When looking for a movie to watch, you can spend ages browsing the catalog. So that means you spend a lot of time trying to figure out what you want to watch before you watch something. You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. Next. When in a group of people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into their conversation. When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical. In your opinion, it is sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead in life. So stepping on others means it's okay to kind of push people away or, use other people so that you can get ahead. You are dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge. When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. So this means when it gets kind of deep and less concrete, less tangible, less factual. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than to quiet and intimate ones. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. So this means you kind of let your emotions decide your choices. You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something that you cannot see, touch, or experience. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. So you prefer to get revenge than forgive. You often make decisions on a whim. So that means you don't really think about them, you just make decisions. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning or message of a song or movie. You always know exactly what you want. You rarely think back on the choices you have made and wonder what you could have done differently. When in a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas. You tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. So you like to make as many decisions right at the beginning. When you know someone thinks highly of you, or when you know someone likes you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas or scenarios. You look after yourself first, and others come in second. Even when you have planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment. Your mood can change very quickly. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life. So you like to wonder about why humans exist or what the meaning of life is. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions. You have got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future. So detailed education, you know exactly what you're going to do when you're done with high school and after, several years into the future. You rarely dwell on your regrets. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway. So if you're around a lot of people and there's noise and things happening, you feel drained and in need of a getaway. You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary. So you're more about like the real facts of things instead of somebody who imagines or thinks about things that aren't real. You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have. So you find it easy to kind of say, you know, I really understand where you're coming from, even though it's never happened to you. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than to organized and consistent efforts. Your emotions control you more than you control them. After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need. You frequently find yourself wondering how technological advancement could change everyday life. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before doing something. You still honor the commitments you have made, even if you have a change of heart. So, like, you'll still go somewhere if you said you would, even if you don't really want to go. You rarely feel insecure. And then you just click See Results.